The Ark of the Covenant. It held the very presence of God. This gold-covered chest was a symbol of God's covenant with his people, Israel. Inside it held the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments, a reminder of God's law and his promise. The Ark was holy, set apart for God's glory. The Ark was a source of both comfort and awe. It represented God's love, guidance, and protection, but it also demanded respect and reverence. To touch the Ark without authorization was strictly forbidden. King David, a man after God's own heart, yearned for the Ark to be in Jerusalem, his capital city. This desire was not just a fleeting thought, but a deep spiritual longing that consumed him. David understood the significance of the Ark of the Covenant, which symbolized God's presence and his covenant with Israel. He believed that having the Ark in Jerusalem would not only honor God, but also unify the nation under divine guidance and protection. He believed that God's presence belonged in the midst of his people. The Ark was more than a sacred object. It was a tangible representation of God's promise and his relationship with Israel. David envisioned a Jerusalem where the Ark would be the focal point of worship, drawing people closer to God and fostering a sense of community and shared faith. This vision was rooted in his deep love for God and his desire to see his people live in harmony with divine will. David knew that the Ark had been residing in Kiriath-Jearim for many years, somewhat forgotten and neglected. This neglect weighed heavily on his heart. He felt a profound sense of responsibility to restore the Ark to its rightful place of honor. The Ark's prolonged stay in Kiriath-Jearim was a stark reminder of a time when Israel had strayed from its spiritual path. David saw this as an opportunity to renew the nation's commitment to God and to rekindle their faith. David gathered his leaders and all of Israel. He knew that this monumental task required the support and participation of the entire nation. Addressing the assembly, David spoke with passion and conviction, sharing his vision for a Jerusalem that would be the spiritual heart of Israel. He emphasized the importance of unity and collective effort in bringing the Ark to its new home. His words resonated deeply with the people, inspiring them to join him in this sacred mission. He shared his heart's desire. David's speech was not just a call to action, but a heartfelt plea for spiritual renewal. He spoke of the Ark's significance, its history, and its role in their faith. He reminded them of the times when the Ark had led them to victory and had been a source of divine guidance. David's words were filled with emotion, reflecting his deep love for God and his unwavering commitment to his people. His vision was clear: to bring the Ark to Jerusalem and to make it a center of worship and divine presence. David wanted to bring the Ark to Jerusalem, a place where all could worship God and be near his presence. He envisioned a grand procession, a celebration of faith and unity as the Ark was carried to its new home. This was not just a physical journey, but a spiritual one, symbolizing the nation's return to God. David's leadership and vision inspired the people, filling them with a sense of purpose and devotion. They understood the significance of this mission and were eager to be a part of it. The people were filled with enthusiasm, eager to participate in this sacred mission. The atmosphere was charged with excitement and anticipation. Families prepared for the journey, and communities came together in a spirit of unity and shared purpose. The procession was a powerful testament to their faith and their commitment to God's will. As they moved towards Jerusalem, their hearts were filled with joy and reverence, knowing that they were part of something truly significant. This was a moment of spiritual renewal, a reaffirmation of their covenant with God, and a celebration of their shared faith and identity. With great excitement and anticipation, the Israelites gathered together, their hearts brimming with joy and hope. This was not just any journey, it was a pilgrimage of profound significance. The destination was Kiriath-Jearim, a place that held deep spiritual meaning for them. The air was filled with a sense of purpose and unity as families, friends, and neighbors came together, each contributing to the preparations in their own way. The Israelites prepared for the journey to Kiriath-Jearim with meticulous care. They knew that this journey was not just a physical one, but a spiritual quest that would bring them closer to their faith and to each other. Every detail was attended to, from the provisions they would need along the way to the arrangements for the Ark of the Covenant, which was the centerpiece of their pilgrimage. they built a new cart to carry the ark, wanting to honor its significance. The construction of the cart was a communal effort with skilled craftsmen and eager helpers working side by side. The wood was carefully selected and shaped, and every joint and seam was inspected to ensure it was worthy of carrying such a sacred object. Finally, the day arrived. The ark was carefully placed upon the cart. This was a moment of great reverence and solemnity. The priests, dressed in their ceremonial robes, handled the ark with the utmost care, their faces reflecting the gravity of the occasion. The entire community watched in respectful silence, understanding the importance of this sacred artifact and the divine presence it represented. David, along with a procession of priests and musicians, led the way. The procession was a grand spectacle, with David at the forefront, his leadership inspiring confidence and devotion in all who followed. The priests, carrying their sacred instruments, walked with dignity and grace, their music adding a layer of spiritual depth to the journey. Musicians played their instruments with fervor, their melodies lifting the spirits of the people. They sang praises to God, their hearts overflowing with joy. The songs were a beautiful expression of their faith and gratitude, each note resonating with the love and devotion they felt for their Creator. The voices of the Israelites blended together in perfect harmony, creating a powerful and uplifting sound that echoed through the hills and valleys. The sound of trumpets and the rhythm of tambourines filled the air, a symphony of celebration. The music was both jubilant and reverent, a fitting tribute to the significance of the journey. The trumpets blared with a triumphant sound, while the tambourines added a lively beat that kept everyone's spirits high. It was a celebration of faith, community, and the shared journey they were embarking on. The journey was a testament to their faith and their love for God. As they traveled together, the Israelites felt a deep sense of connection to their heritage and to each other. The ark, carried with such care and reverence, was a constant reminder of the divine presence that guided and protected them. This joyous journey was not just about reaching a destination, but about the shared experience of faith, hope, and love that bound them together as a people. The procession continued, the atmosphere electric with joy. As they made their way along the road, the oxen stumbled, and the cart carrying the ark shifted precariously. Seeing this, a man named Uzzah, who was walking alongside the cart, instinctively reached out to steady it. In that moment, tragedy struck. Uzzah's well-intentioned but unauthorized touch angered God. The Lord struck Uzzah dead on the spot. A sudden hush fell over the crowd. Joy turned to fear and confusion. Section 5. Fear and frustration. In the ancient times of Israel, emotions ran high and the stakes were immense. The story of King David and the Ark of the Covenant is a poignant example of this. It is a tale filled with deep fear, intense frustration, and a quest for understanding. David was both shaken and angered by what had happened. The Ark of the Covenant, a sacred chest that held the tablets of the Ten Commandments, was supposed to be a symbol of God's presence and blessing. Yet a tragic event had cast a dark shadow over this holy relic. He was afraid to bring the ark any closer to Jerusalem. The fear was palpable, not just for David, but for all those who witnessed the event. The ark, which was meant to bring joy and divine favor, now seemed to be a harbinger of doom. He questioned why God would allow such a tragedy to occur. Was it a sign of divine displeasure? Had they done something wrong in their handling of the ark? These questions tormented David's mind, and he sought answers in the midst of his fear and frustration. The ark, meant to be a symbol of God's blessing, now seemed like a source of danger. The very object that was supposed to unite the people and bring them closer to God was now the cause of their greatest fear. The weight of this realization was heavy on David's heart. The celebration came to an abrupt halt. What was meant to be a joyous occasion turned into a moment of collective dread. The people who had gathered to celebrate the arrival of the ark were now left in a state of confusion and fear. The ark was diverted to the nearby house of Obed-Edom, a Gittite. This decision was not made lightly. David, in his fear and uncertainty, chose to place the ark in the care of Obed-Edom, hoping that this would prevent any further calamities. David, still grappling with fear and uncertainty, decided to leave the ark there for a time. He needed a moment to reflect, to seek divine guidance, and to understand the reasons behind the tragedy. The weight of leadership and the responsibility of safeguarding the ark weighed heavily on him. He needed to understand what had gone wrong and how to proceed. Consulting with prophets and seeking divine wisdom, David embarked on a journey of introspection and spiritual seeking. The story of David and the Ark is a testament to the complexities of faith, leadership, and the human quest for understanding in the face of fear and frustration. Section 6. Obed-Edom's Open Door. Obed-Edom, a man of faith, welcomed the Ark into his home without hesitation. He understood the holiness of the Ark and approached it with reverence and respect. He didn't allow fear to overshadow the honor of housing the presence of God. Obed-Edom and his family continued their lives working and worshipping with the Ark as a central part of their home. He didn't treat the Ark as a burden or a threat, but as a sacred blessing to be cherished. Section 7. Blessings Abound. 3 months passed. Word reached David that Obed-Edom and his household were experiencing incredible blessings. Their crops flourished, their livestock multiplied, and their family thrived. God's favor was evident in every aspect of their lives. David realized that God's anger was not arbitrary, but a consequence of disrespecting his holiness. He also saw the incredible blessings that came with honoring God and his commands. David knew it was time to bring the Ark to Jerusalem, but this time with the utmost reverence and care. Section 8. The Ark's Significance. The Ark of the Covenant teaches us about God's character. It reveals his holiness, his power, and his deep love for his people. It reminds us that God is present with us, even when we don't fully comprehend his ways. The story of the Ark is a story of faith and fear, of obedience and consequence. It highlights the importance of approaching God with reverence, humility, and a heart surrendered to his will. Section 9. Reverence and respect. As we journey through life, may we always remember the Ark and the lessons it teaches. May we approach God with the reverence and respect he deserves. And may we strive to live in obedience to his commands, knowing that his blessings follow those who honor him. Remember, God's presence is a gift, a privilege, and a responsibility. Let us approach him with awe and wonder, always mindful of his holiness and grace.